Hello and welcome to Nitro Talk. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone's doing great. Today we are going to be doing some clutch work on this Ultimate M5S, and then we're going to be installing it in the Hyper 7. If you're into nitro engines, vehicles, all that stuff, thank you very, very much for joining me. I really appreciate all of y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. I love the feedback. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all my viewers. So, I had installed this in the Hyper 7, and I was having clutch issues. I think I had a shoe hanging up. Oh, no. That wasn't the issue. I put the clutch was too tight. The stall was way too high. I had made a misadjustment on the CRF clutch, but never mind that. I had thrown on it the OS 2050 pipe right here, right? Because I was, thinking this is like your classic V-spec pipe, and a great pipe all around. I figured OS engine, OS pipe, right? But then as I was going to put it back in, and I remembered I had totally forgotten that I've got the Ultimate pipe, the pipe that is sold, as a combo with the engine, the Ultimate Engines 2142 pipe right here. And this pipe is cool in that it does not use springs to connect. It has a quick release cam system with a couple of O-rings in there, which I had molly coated them back in the day when I ran this thing, and I just took them out, cleaned them, and re-molly coated them again. I'm a stickler for my O-rings. I like to keep them nice and fresh. I've heard that people experience leaks from here. So I have never experienced a leak. I hope to remain leak-free with my well-maintained O-rings. All right, so we're going to be installing that pipe on it. Basically where we're at, this is a brand new built clutch. It's got some of those Answer RC shoes on it. One thing I always like to do, and I already did this, so I got some built clutches over here in my clutch. This is my new, I just kind of put this together. I have my bigger clutch container with all my clutches. This is my Losi 4-shoe container. This is all Losi 4-shoe stuff because that's mostly what I run. So whenever I go to put a clutch on, let's say I have a built clutch, right? Like this one right here is already built. I always want to take and give those shoes a good flick. Just make sure, number one, feel a good spring tension on them, right? Make sure I got a good spring tension. And then also, I want to hear that nice, strong click, meaning that they're not binding up and they're able to return quickly back to position. Why does it look like this screw is backed out? No, it's in. All right. So I locked down my clutch nut there, so we're essentially ready to do the clutch. I know you're wondering what those springs are doing there, but the way these fins here, they kind of hold the springs. You got to pull them, stretch them to get them out of there. But since I'm going to be putting this back in, I just figured I'd leave them on there for the time being. Unless they get in my way, I'll take them off. And you know what? I did want to put a cap on the rear of this thing because I don't like having the rear exposed like that. Never know what could fall in there. We don't need that. All right, so I'm going to be putting this ProTech 14-tooth Losi style clutch bell on here. And that's another thing. I mentioned the other day how I've been reusing clutch bell bearings a lot. I haven't really probably the reason why I've been reusing them a lot is because I haven't had any go bad on me in a while. I have had plenty clutch bearings go on me. Don't trust me, plenty. But for some reason, I have had really good luck with clutch ball bearings lately, and that's kind of made me complacent when it comes to clutch ball bearings. So now that I've realized my complacency, I want to put some new, got some new shoes, newish clutch bell. I did install this for a little bit, but I took it right back off. It's essentially brand new. I'm going to go ahead and put some new bearings in there. So I'm going to grab my bearing tub. Those are my engine bearings. I've got a couple different. So most standard clutches use two 5x10x4 bearings, right? Yeah, 5x10x4. But the low C uses two different size bearings. It uses a 5x10x4 in the front, and then in the rear, I don't remember the exact size. I'm pretty sure these are the ones that I got for that. Let me check. Yeah. I can tell you the code, and then you could look it up. It's 69693Z. It's very small. I can't see it. But anyways, it takes two different sizes. You know what? Hold on a second. I got a 6x13x5. Is that it? 6x13x4. That's it. So these are those are by fives, yeah. So 6x13x4 is the size of the inner bearing. Why don't I have I got a thing of them. 5x12x4. Anyways, it is 6x13. What I just say? Whatever I just said. But it's by 4, not by 5. So there's my new metal shielded inner or rear bearing. And I got these Blue Seal, some Blue Seal 5x10x4s. But I'm going to use these. And I like these TRB RC bearings. So 5x10x4 precision ball bearing, chrome steel, ABEC 3 metal shields. These are, I feel, and I haven't bought these in a while. I bought these a couple years ago. I felt at the time that this was about the best deal you could get in a high quality bearing. You can certainly buy very cheap bearings, much cheaper. But for a good quality ABEC 3 bearing, that was about the best deal I could find at that time. All right, sorry about that. If anyone's, that's happened before. It's an alarm on my phone that doesn't care if I'm making a video. It's going to go off anyway. All right, so I'm going to put one very small shim at the very bottom. But tell you what, I want this one as far down. I want the shimming to be as least shimming behind the clutch bell as possible. Okay, that's it. I want this thing to sit low as possible because these shoes sit very low. So, yeah, I think that's, we got a nice smooth clutch bell there. So I think we are solid gold with that. Now we just need to, so these Losi style, you have to have, usually you have to have one of those pieces which has that little indent right there. Yes, my fingers, number one, I got glue on them because I just did my repairing Lexan bodies with shoe goo and drywall tape. I just finished making that, so I still got glue on them. And yeah, let's go ahead and get a zoom in on there. That's rough. They're dry. Dirt under the nails. I'm a gross, dirty man. That's just how it is. Sorry, but that's me. All right, so what we're going to do is set this in place, and then we're going to feel, if I didn't put any shims, right, that would be my play, and that feels lovely. So let's give it a test fit with something like that, a 2.5 millimeter. Sorry. It's about fantastic right there. Could I put a super tiny shim underneath this piece? Yeah, probably could. As long as we still got a tick. I think I mentioned the other day, you don't want even if your clutch bell is spinning freely, it doesn't mean you have as much room as you may need. These parts do heat up, and when they heat up, they can swell and bind up. So for a clutch bell, you want to have an actual yeah, that's beautiful. I've got it. Are we in? All right. See, at the bottom, we do have some movement. Not only is it free, but we got just a little bit of play. That is perfect. That is absolutely magnificent. Let's go ahead and lock that down. Always, after you lock everything down, recheck it. Like, let's say you're setting your gear mesh, right? And you kind of preliminarily lock them down and then go over and you tick, 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 check your mesh. It's perfect, right? When you go back and lock them down really super tight, go back and make sure that you still got the exact same tick. You always want to, after you fully lock down your fasteners, recheck and make sure everything's beautiful, and that is beautiful. All right, these bearings out of here. We can go ahead and we're good with our clutch shoes and shims and whatnot kit right there. So we got our engine, our pipe, and our Hyper 7. Now this, as you can see, I took the engine mount plates off, so this thing I shouldn't even have to set the mesh. It should be all set up from when I set it up before. Also shouldn't have to set up my throttle. Everything, I should have set everything up when I did it originally. So now it's just setting it right back into place, hopefully. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we are going to have to. Now, did I not? Okay, yes, I did. Like I said, I had the CRF V6 clutch on here, so different clutch. This is sitting too far forward, so I'm going to have to loosen these and slide the engine back a touch. So I'm going to go ahead and do it outside of the vehicle. That's how I like to do it. And I'll show you how I line them up to where they make sure they match each other. So give this a little loosen. And I saw approximately where, well, I tell you what, I'm going to put another, this thing is pretty stripped out. I'm going to put another one in its place. Hopefully I don't lose my nut down there. My off frame, sorry. Come on. It is spinning. I am getting it to turn. There we go. Let me, got some cap hex right here. Let me find me something like that. A little longer. Probably would be fine. Little shorter. That I know will be fine because it came up a lot. All right, let me throw. Hopefully it'll bite right back down into the nut. And is it? Okay. All right. So I got both of these over here loose. So you see I have it right now essentially lined up with the end of the red right there. So this motor mount is essentially lined up with the bottom of that back plate right there. And I need to bring the engine back, which moves this forward. So I'm going to tap it forward. I'm going to make me a new reference point. Basically what I'm saying is I was using the back of that back plate as my reference point. So now I'm going to move it forward and I'm going to use the end of this this corner right here essentially. So I'm going to move it up and line it directly with that corner there. And I'm going to give it a preliminary tighten just to kind of keep it in place. And yes, I could bite these screws a lot better if with the cooling head off. I probably should go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm going to give this an eyeball in my new location. And it looks like that would be beautiful. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lock this side. Lock that one. Did I not? Did I miss the? Yeah, sure as heck did. All right, let me see if I could line. So my nut in there. This is not how I do this. If you saw me mount one before, you put the bolt and screw together first, and then you slide it in. Let me see if I can grab the nut without taking this whole thing apart. Looks like I'm probably going to have to. You know what? At this point, I'm starting to look foolish. Let me show you how I do it. All right, so this is how this is properly done. You got your shim right there. Oh, is that one not long enough? Is that the problem? let's see. Might be not long enough. All right, so you start them, and then you slide this right on. Just like such. There. All right, now we are connected. I'm going to line it up, like I said, with the back of that mount plate. And now we can lock these down. Oh yeah, nice and tight. Lovely. All right, so now all I got to do is go over here, loosen these. All right, break free, tap it forward right to my reference point. The back edge of that motor mount plate, right there. Perfect. And tighten these back down. Like I said, yes, you should be removing the cooling head to get a better angle on those, but we got them. So now let's test fit. Beautiful. Let me go ahead and throw in one and two. And just for giggles, let's see. No, that mesh is not proper. So we're going to have to reset the mesh. So let me put a loosen on those. These are the ones that you adjust the mesh with. All right. So now let me go ahead and put the other two in the mount plates, and then we'll see what we got to do for our mesh. One and a two. And I'll give these a good locking down, lock down, lock down, lock it, and lock it. All right, let's see where we need to go with our mesh. All the way is too tight, so we need it ever so slightly out from all the way. So let me, this is a little preliminary, see how this feels. You feel, or you hear that tick? That is a tiny tick. That is an absolutely gorgeous tick. So I'm going to give these a lockdown, and if we still have exactly what we just had, no excessive noise, And you always check your mesh in more than one location. That's something I don't think that I have remembered to mention before. So check your mesh right here, right? Roll it forward a bit. Check it again. Roll it forward a bit. Check it again. Because those might not be centered, and where it might have a nice little tick here, you might roll it, and now it's touching. You know what I mean? So check that. And I tell you what, that is a lovely, tiny little tick. That is beautiful gear mesh right there. Are we locked? Everything locked down here really good. Lock. I locked those outside ones already. Oh no. Oh man. Yeah, I want to just forget about it. But no, gosh darn it. I just lost. How short is this? Let me see if I can maybe get a longer one in there. That motor mount just stripped out on me. Not the mount plate, but this piece right here. And I tell you what, I'm not super happy about it. Those are kind of soft. I have 4 or 5 of those that have a stripped out screw hole in them. It happens. You know, maybe I don't torque them down crazy. I torque them down good and solid. I'm gonna look and see if I could find me a countersunk of that size that's just a little bit longer, because that's one reason why they strip, because they're kind of short, because they hit the I'll tell you what, let me see something here, because sometimes because you moved, because those, where you have these bolts, right, where these bolts sit depends on how long of a screw you can use, because they bat against each other. If these are out of the way, you can use a nice long screw, but if these are right over those, you got to use a short screw. And it looks like you can't use a super long one in here. Let me see if I can get one just a bit longer. And what I'm going to do, I've ran with 3 before. I don't like it. I always try to do something for that other one. I'll put some thread lock, you know, just a little something to help it out. Or do a, what's the other? For a stripped out screw in plastic, you know, you throw the zip tie in it. A toothpick. I know it's wood and this is metal, but it might help a little bit. But the key takeaway here is I don't want to swap it. I don't want to take it all apart and put another one on. I'm going to be, see, that's the thing. Okay, here's why. I'm going to be, I don't leave engines on vehicles for, you know, a year or 2. I swap them around a lot. You know what I mean? I want to check this out. I want to check that out. So I want to get this to work, right? I want to, ooh, I think that's exactly maybe what we're looking for. I want this to work until I get, until I swap it. So, you know what, all right, so I think this is going to be our proper size. And it's got, does it have thread lock on it already? I'm going to go where I'm going to put some thread lock on it, and I'm going to put a little thread lock on there. And I'm going to take a toothpick, throw that down in there. Now, yeah, machine head. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, machine thread. Might not even be able to get it started with something in there, you know what I mean? Because it actually has to bite into the threads. This is a foobar situation right here, anyways. The 3 will hold it. I've ran with the 3 before, but I don't like it. You know what? Let me see if I can just get a sliver of this off of here, just kind of like a little shaving, right? So I want to throw that in there. And I've got my thread lock on this screw. And let's see. And the screw is a little longer, so it's biting into the little bit of threads that were past the other one. So, well, I'll tell you what. Oh, that feels, I don't want to go too far and then strip it too, but I tell you what, that feels good. I was able to get a good tighten on that. Okay. So, boy, yeah, I tell you, I could certainly strip it if I wanted to, and I don't want to, but I tell you what, I got a good firm tighten on that. I feel good about that. All right, so we're locked, we're rigged on that one. That'll be an interesting, we'll keep an eye on that and see how long that lasts. That screw, those threads there were pretty stripped out, but that one's biting pretty good. Thread lock, glue it in place. I've been ramming for a half hour. I didn't like that, but I had to deal with it. I did what I did, and we're going to run it and see what happens. All right. I do have another of those mounts to replace it with, but I already explained why I don't want to do it. All right. So we are mounted. We have our good, beautiful mesh. Our throttle should be right where it needs to be. Let's go ahead and lock that in place. And it looks like I even got my rubber bands already on around the air filter, so I can throw those on. Oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and do that. All right. Here you go. There's another little mod. And let me make this point here while we're talking. I wanted to make this when I showed this, all right? This is the way I feel about these. This buggy's a work in progress, right? I'm always trying to improve it, right? Something breaks. Not only do I repair it, but try to figure out a way to make it not break again, right? Fortify it, strengthen it, work out the bugs, right? Work out the kinks. I was thinking, so let me run this by and let me move this air filter a little bit out of the way. If it will spin, not really. Maybe up out of the way. There you go. All right, so you know how I do my throttle return. Can we see good? All right, so where's my just head? Use that for my pointer. All right, so you got your throttle lever right there, your throttle linkage, and you got the lock collars, right? The inside one with the spring tension on it, and then the outside one. I remove this grub screw that comes in it on the inside one. As you can see here, I remove it and replace it with a 2.5 millimeter cap head screw. Can we see that? Good. Cap head screw right there. So here's what I was thinking. And I'll tell you my thought process, right? So I was thinking about how I had not changed these rubber bands in a while, right, on a certain vehicle, right? They had been on a while. And I was thinking I should probably, even though I've never had one of these rubber bands break, I don't remember ever having, I used 2 of these bands on here. I don't ever remember having one break. But nevertheless, if I think they've been on there a while, probably be a good idea to change them, right? So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, well, what's the factors that can, determine if these things break or not? And I was thinking about how that they're just wrapped around this screw here, right? This 2.5 millimeter cap head screw. And so they're riding right on the threads, right? Those are the threads right there. Those threads, and this thing is moving, right? It's always moving in and out. So it's almost like those rubber bands are like rubbing against those threads. And I just feel like they could work against the rubber band and cut it. You know what I mean? The threads just rubbing back and forth. Now, again, like I've said, I've never had one of these rubber bands break. But the fact that they're riding on those threads there, which you could say are kind of sharp for, depending on different criteria, to that rubber band, those threads are sharp, right? So here was my idea as just a tiny little improvement, just a tiny little change to give me a little bit more peace of mind, right? And that was this. Let me go ahead and take these rubber bands off, move them out of the way, and kind of look and see where I've got this collar at, right? So I can put it back to the same place. Let me go ahead and remove this. All right, so there's my cap head screw. So here's my idea. Take a little piece of heat shrink tube here, right? Cut it to length. That's not a good cutter. This is a good cutter. So cut the heat shrink tubing to give you a little short length, right? It's probably a little long because it's got to screw down into there a little bit. And then just heat that. Give me 1 second and I'll heat this. So, as you can see, what we have now is that little cap head screw with a piece of heat shrink tubing on it. Then I reinstall it, put the same amount of tension on it that it had. Nice and tight. So now that when I put my rubber bands, are riding on that piece of heat shrink tubing right there instead of the threads, which I feel is going to be less prone to cut those rubber bands. What do you think about that? Yeah, is it necessary? No. Is it worth the time to do it? It took me, a minute? It's no big deal. I like working on these things. I like doing stuff like that. I like getting ideas, right? I like seeing a problem and figuring out a solution, right? Is it a big problem? Whatever. That's a new mod that I'm doing on my buggies. I put that tall cap head screw in there to put the bands around. From here on out, the threads will be covered with a piece of heat shrink tubing. That's just the way I am going to do it from here on out. All right. Now, our linkage is set up. We just really got to throw the pipe on this thing, and we will be Gucci, as the young the young folks would say. All right. You know, this, I didn't like that. I kind of saw that. Look at, see that stinger's got a little dent there on it. A needle nose plier is always good to smooth out those, make them nice and round again. All right. We can remove our cap back there. Let's see if this gasket works good with this pipe. Is it binding? It's kind of hard to tell. Or bunching. Bunching is what you don't want these to do. Looks like we're good. Let's go ahead and try to attach some of these springs. One. And one. And two. I'm trying to do it to where y'all can see. Two. And two. Look at that, easy as pie. All right, always give it a good wiggle. Make sure it's on there nice and square. All right, and that thing just spins. All right, we need our, I left my hanger was still on this thing, so let me go ahead and take this off of here. We will hang this mofo, and then it'll be time to go. But I tell you what, when we finish this, which is literally going to be here in a couple minutes, I will have all three buggies RTR. Oh man, we're going to have some fun at the track. All right, let me see if this is going to be long enough. Put it up through there. Looks like maybe barely. You know, yeah, no, I'm going to redo it. I would kind of have to stick it underneath the lip of the fuel tank there. And I don't want anything pressing on the fuel tank. That might break it. So, was this one a little longer? Oh, heck yeah. This is a really short pipe. So we need to make us a pipe hanger. How we do that, we discussed before. I get these. These are from a paint roller. These hold the brush on the roller. This is what I use to make my pipe hanger. So I just got to find my snips. Remove this flat area at the end. And so I'm going to need it a bit longer than this. So I'm going to give it, let me go ahead first and remove this little bend in it. And so I'm going to need it bent a little bit further, so maybe about right there. Give her a bend, and then I need it to be about yay. So let's snip her right there. Are we in the teeth? All right, so there we got a little bit longer of a pipe hanger. Let's see how it fits. Oh, and also because it's so far back, to go straight, it would have to, like I said, it would have to go under the tank. So we're going to give it a little kick around. It's going to come out and then bend outward, kind of about like yay. Let's see how that works. Let's put this in through there. And looks like it's a bit long. That's fine. We can take a bit off. Let's try it. That. And that. And that. Oh, I tell you what. Let me lock that right there. And I will lock this right here. Oh man, I tell you what. That is, got our little kick around the tank there, so I didn't have to shoot underneath it. And that is nice and solid. We're locked in. Locked good, locked good. Now again, yes, these are both a place where it is recommended to put thread lock. It certainly is. So don't take me not doing it to mean that you're not supposed to. I only do it because I change engines and pipes a lot. So, and I don't have a lot of problems with them coming loose. All right. So, pipe is mounted. Linkage, we should still be set up from before I set up, the throw, the endpoints, right? That's all set up. I tell you what, let me go ahead and reconnect. That goes there. And that goes right there. How exactly? I'm going to come over. I'd like for it to, there, beautiful. All right, got our, what do you think? Ultimate M5S, yes, this is going to drive me nuts. Oh, you know what? I got to spin this. Help it go down a little bit. There we go. Anyways, yes, I'm not OCD. All right. And we're good. We're ready to go. This thing is installed. We got a good clutch on there. Clutch ready to go. New clutch bell. Great mesh. We're going to have to keep an eye on that bolt. We got a little rig going on the bolt there. But everything else is rock solid and should be beautiful. Now, you know what? I didn't think I ran this filter very long, right? But that thing just does not look good at all. So, and then that way it'll give me an opportunity to double check that my my throttle pull is good. My endpoints, adjust my endpoints. So, I thought I had a cleaned, oiled filter ready to install. If I do, I'm not seeing it. So, you know what? Let me go ahead and just, let me pull this one off of here. And we will check the check the throttle. Come on, you. Careful, don't let any dust or debris fall down into the carburetor. Be gentle. Well, that didn't look very clean. Yeah, looks fine in there. You know what? I'm going to give these a good clean up. I always wash and re-oil my filters. I'll get that ready for reinstall, and then we'll check it after I clean these up. We'll see you in a sec. Real quick, before I took this off, I wanted to, because yeah, that doesn't look good, but let's go ahead and pull this out. And as you can see, nothing was able to come to the rear, right? That's perfectly, no debris on the inside. Nothing got past that corner there. So yeah, that is crusty, dusty, and dirty, but it did protect, it did do its job. So I'm going to clean it up. I'll be right back. All right, we got a clean air filter. I want to check real quick and see how this radio is set up. Oh yeah, looks like it's going to be beautiful. All right, we'll double check that once we throw the Venturi in. Actually, yeah, why don't I just go ahead and do that now? Molly coat is not necessary on a Venturi. It's certainly not a place where you need to have an airtight seal, and you pretty much do have a good airtight seal. But I put it on there anyways. Where in the heck is my Molly coat? I put it on there anyways, but since I don't have any handy, I'm not going to put it on there. All right, 7mm Venturi goes in nice and tight. And like I said before, you want your throttle. Now again, see how this is nice. This bar here, your throttle linkage, is nice and level. It ain't coming up to the carb. It ain't going down to the carb. It's nice and level. And you see it does a nice straight pull on the carb. Oh, sorry. Get in there good. Nice straight pull on the carb. Nice level and straight. That's what you want. All right. Yeah, I wanted to double check with my Venturi in that this pulls right to the edge of the Venturi and no more. Actually, it does need just a slight tweak. I can still see. You know what? Let me go ahead and see if I can show you. So, if we can get you a view into that carb, where are we at? All right, there we go. Got a nice view into that carb. I'm going to pull this. Oh, sorry. And you can see when I pull it all the way, you see how you can still barely, just a little line right there, but you can barely see it. So I'm really just going to need, like, I'm going to go to my travel on the throttle and go to that side. And really, I'm just going to really push it up like 1 or 2 clicks. 2 clicks was good. So now, when we look in there, it completely disappears. Just outside. It goes just to the edge and no more. I know I've said that 100 times. All right. Our linkage is set up beautifully. Let me go ahead and turn this off. Now, like I said, I wash and oil my air filters. This is that filter we're looking at. I clean this up. I use my LA's famous degreaser from Dollar Tree. It's a real good grease cutter because this is, full of oil as well as dirt. But that is cleaned out. Of course, these pieces are cleaned as well. And these elbows here, these will get dry, and I will molly coat them. But this one, I can tell it's recently been molly coated because it is nice and soft and pliable. All right, I've got where did I put my air filter oil? There it is. I knew I just had it. All right. Take my, now, you're supposed to really put this inside of a plastic bag. You're not supposed to touch this stuff with your hands. Do as I say, not as I do. Kind of give it, I kind of give it something about like that. And I just washed this filter by hand, so my hands are very clean because I was just scrubbing soapy degreaser with them. All right, so really just want to work that until it's evenly distributed and you can't see any pink, any lines or marks. You'll know that it's evenly distributed all throughout, right? So this circle there indicates the bottom, right? So this is the top. And I want to, when I put these in, you don't want to so I'll show you how I do it. I kind of start it all the way around, right? I'll kind of put it in like that, and then I'll push it in from the center here, right? I feel that gets it in nice and straight, and then I'll take and kind of pull it back away from the edge as I spin it, and I'm evening out the air filter element. I want it to be all the way into every corner of this thing. I don't want it to be bunched up inside there. So that's how I get it in there nice and even. All right, go ahead and throw on our elbow here, which is nice and soft and pliable. All right, and that is our completed Traxxas style air filter. My favorite. This is the Traxxas style air filter. I run it almost exclusively. I got a ton of them, so I use them. I really like them. It's a dual stage air filter. All right. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and, since those bands haven't been replaced in a while, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of fresh bands on it. One and two. All right. I'll kind of put those on up there, right? Get them out of my way up there. Now I'll go ahead and put my air filter on. Push it all the way down. Seats nice and even. Blue, look at that. I like having my blue buggy, put a blue zip tie. I like color coordinating. Like I said before, and this has been scientifically proven, anytime you add a color matching accessory to an RC vehicle, it goes 0.2 miles per hour faster. All right, zip tie. You want it right in the groove. There's a, on this Traxxas air filter specifically, there's a groove for your zip tie. So right in the groove. And snip the zip like we always do. All right, so now our air filter is on and it is secured via zip tie. So now the final step is just to grab a hold of my rubber bands and place them around the throttle return screw. Grab them like that. Those bands felt, I mean, I guess because they're brand new, they just feel really strong. And I'm going to move them all the way down. All right, after I'm all done with my zip tie and everything, I'll move the rubber bands all the way down to the base. Yeah, they're good. You want a nice, strong throttle return, right? If you have a good high-end servo, this thing, I think it's like 24 or 26 kilograms. That's plenty strong enough to pull those couple of bands right there. Let me actually go ahead and got a LiPo battery in here. We got plenty of gas. All right. So we're all set up. Do I got my dead band? I should make a little. I need to make a series of short videos, right? I got my long videos where we shoot the shit and we work on stuff, right? But I need to make a series of very short videos on things like this: setting your dead band on a nitro vehicle. This inside collet has spring tension on it, right? But this outside one, when you're at this position here, completely neutral, right, on your throttle, you want on this outside collar, right? I'm going to loosen it up. And you want about a credit card's width of space in between that locking collar and the throttle arm, the servo arm. Basically, I just want to be able to see shiny metal. See how you can now see the shine of the rod in between there. Just as long as you have a gap there, that's your dead band. All right, so we're all set up, 100% lovely, perfect, and sweet. We can go ahead and kill this. All right, so as it sits, I have all three buggies ready to run, and all of them have, I got the Ultimate M5S in this one, I got the Nova Rossi Rolling in my other Hyper 7, and I got the Junkyard Mutt in the Kyosho MP9. So it certainly has some competition. We're going to be doing some fast buggy. These things are going to be moving next time I get out there. Let's just say that. I got three fast engines. I feel that they're all three going to be super fast. All right. Everything's locked down, ready to go. I'll see y'all in the next video. What is going to be the next video? I'll figure it out. See you then.